Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? How is everyone doing? I'm so excited to be back on our series talking all about healing. Oh my goodness, you guys. So today we are talking about meditation, and I am so excited because, I just legit spilled this all over me because this is a question that I get asked all the time about meditation. So I have a quick little story to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you about meditation. Hello, everyone who's joining, and I'm going to share with you also a little bit of my meditation session this morning, okay? So in 2018, I was asked to be a speaker at an event, like a mentor, right? And the very first night, all of the mentors and the attendees of the retreat were all in one room. And the very first, mentor got up and she said, okay, so this is my session and we're going to set the intention for why we're here and everything. And she said, here's the thing, we're going to go around. And she said, I want the attendees to do this and I want the other mentors to do this as well. And I want you to share what you're struggling with most right now. But here's the kicker. The kicker is that you cannot give any advice or feedback. Like no one, this is completely a listening exercise. Unless it is your turn to speak, to share what you are struggling most with, you are to be quiet. We are just listening and taking it in. We are just providing space for people to just share what they're struggling with. So they start going around the circle. There's quite 30 people there maybe. So people start sharing, and one after the other. I am just like, oh my gosh, I know how to help. I can help. I just want to say something. And like the mentor can see that I am just, dying. And she looks at me at one point and she's like, I'm like, oh, dang it. And so, but it was things like, one of them was just struggling so much with social media. And I was like, I know how to help you with that. Like, I just wanted to help, right? And it was at this same retreat that I met another lady who ended up being my nutritionist. I have a whole story on that. But she helped me tremendously in learning how to fuel my body. And pretty quickly into our time together, she asked me, she said, hey, do you meditate? And I said, I've tried it. It's just not for me. Like I have too much going on up here. And I'm like a go-go person and I can't sit. And anytime I try, there's a million more thoughts I feel like it's having the opposite effect for me. She goes, okay. She said, you know what meditation is, right? And I said, well, yeah, you sit there and you're quiet and you try to get all your thoughts away and all this. She said, no, meditation is passive prayer. And I said, come again? She said, well, when we pray, we are constantly doing the talking. We are doing the asking. And meditation is just the listening. And that combined with the exercise that I did at that retreat where the lady was like, no. This isn't for you to give any advice. This isn't for you to speak up at all. You're just here to listen. I know it's hard. I know it's real hard. I know every single one of these voices is coming through to you and you want to talk back. But that's not the point. The point is to listen. And her exercise, honestly, it wasn't really about someone getting up and being vulnerable and sharing. It was about having to sit there and just listen to 29 other people share their problems and their struggles, and you just sit there and listen. So I learned that exercise and it was really powerful. And it was like, oh my gosh, like these people, like afterwards they get up and they move like they're fine. They're okay. Even though I didn't give my advice or anything. Everything's fine. And then it was interesting too, because I remember a few weeks later being somewhere and somebody said, oh, I was at a church service, and the pastor said, do you think that you're the only person who God can do something through? Do you think you're the only person in the room who can get that point across, or who can make that mission a reality or whatever? And that was another turning point. It was like, yeah, there's so many people. Like, this isn't, I don't know. I think I was going through a place where I had really done a lot of research, and I was just in this place of wanting to heal. And I felt like I had learned a lot about boundaries and these kinds of things, especially about business. And that's what most of these women were there struggling with, were business things. And I was just like, oh my gosh, all you have to do is do this, and that's going to take care of that problem. It's like this little app, and it's $7 a month, and it takes 5 minutes to set up, and that is going to totally take care of how you schedule clients. And that's all I wanted to say, and I wanted to be helpful. But it was like, no. You just need to listen. And I think sometimes we can do that with ourselves. I think sometimes we can have a problem and we're like, okay, now, here we go, pros and cons. And we can sit there and we can try to figure it out. We can try to analyze it, and we can try to do it ourselves. And it's like, no. Your job is to express what you're frustrated with or what your struggles are. For me, I do that in my journal. And then your job is to sit there and to listen. And that is when meditation clicked for me. To this day, I do not use an app. I do not use anything like that. I sit crisscross applesauce until I have 3 kids. And at first, I just need to get my breathing in check, okay? And so I'll put my right hand on my heart and my left hand on my belly. And I breathe in for 8 seconds through my nose, hold for 8 seconds, breathe out through my mouth for 8 seconds, hold for 8 seconds. I continue to do that. And what I also do while my eyes are closed is I picture my body, and I picture this like yellow light. So as I'm breathing in through my nose, I picture this yellow light being the air. And so I view my body as if it is transparent, and as if it is kind of black and white. And for whatever reason, I view it in like a profile angle. But I see this yellow light go in through my nose, and as it's coming in, how far it goes. And then I hold, and then I release, and it comes out. And then I do it again, and every single time I'm trying to get it deeper. Because if I can get my breath to where it's going all the way down to my stomach, to my belly, like that's where the deep breathing is. And that's what's helping to get me in that mode for meditation. And then I picture the light coming out as well through my mouth, and I picture it when it's being held. So I just try to get it that way. And sometimes it takes a while. And this morning I kind of struggled with it, to be honest. I could not get that breath deep enough. It took me probably 4 or 5 minutes before I got my breath. And the other thing about when you start to get the breath really deep is you start to let go of all the tension. So I hold all of my stress. I mean, we all do. All day, like I constantly am like, shoulders down. Get your tongue off of the roof of your mouth. I hold it. I'll grit my teeth and everything. I just like hold it all like right here. And it's like, no, just calm down. So you'll see me meditating, and I'm having a hard time getting my breath, and I'll just kind of shake it out for a second. And I'm like, okay, let's try it again. And then once I get to a place where I've got my breath where I want it, then I just open up my hands like this and put them on my knees. And that is when I just continue to breathe and be still and listen. And I picture, and if I sense myself starting to think about things, like this morning, it was a little more difficult because I was like, I have never videoed myself meditating, and there's a camera on me right now. And then I was like, nope, don't think about that. You excuse it. The thoughts are going to come in and out. You can't beat yourself up for it. You're like, oh, I recognize that I'm doing some thinking. Let me try to get back to my breathing. And if I have to count again, then I count again. And then oftentimes what I will do at that point is when I breathe in, I will say to myself, be still and know. And then I hold, and then I breathe out and say, be still and know. And I'll do that until I can get to a point. So there isn't like some big thing that I'm picturing or anything like that. It really is just, okay, I have actively written down what I'm concerned with, what my struggles are, what I'm dealing with. And now I just want to listen. Now, here's the other thing. With meditation, I've only had one time where I really felt like, oh my gosh, I really kind of feel like I'm in a different place. That's only happened once. What it does for me, and it's not like I hear a voice that says, hey, Jessica, do this next. It's nothing like that. It's just whatever I was worried about, whatever was consuming my thoughts, isn't so much anymore. It's just a more peaceful feeling. It's not that I necessarily have the answers or know what I'm doing next. I'm just not as worried. I'm not as anxious. And that is the only way that I know how to describe it. So, as you can tell, I am not by any stretch of the imagination any kind of expert in this. I have just done what works for me. I have just learned what works for me. And it's just the simplest of things. It's just the breathing and the being still and knowing that if I can sit here and be still and breathe in, that when I'm done with this, I'm going to feel more at peace. And any kind of thoughts that come in, I'm allowed to have them and then recognize them and then say, oh, okay, you come back later. Right now I'm meditating. And when I first started, I would literally set a timer for 2 minutes. And I remember every now and then I would like cheat and look down and I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's only been 35 seconds, But I tried real hard to just make myself breathe and keep my eyes closed until the alarm went off. And then little by little, I would just add time to that until I got to where I was at like 15 minutes. And I would say now I meditate about 10 to 15 minutes every morning. And when you think about that, you guys, 10 minutes, think how often you waste 10 minutes doing other things, right? You can give yourself 10 minutes. Just be patient with yourself. It is a learned practice. Like, it is not something you get overnight. And the first probably couple months, you're going to think, this is a waste of time, but just stay with it. And it will get better. And you will feel more at peace. You really will. Because the knowing is inside of you. And the only way that you can get inside of you is to be still. That's it. All right, guys. I hope that you found this helpful. I will see you back here tomorrow where we are going to have lesson 6. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this. And I will see you soon. And go check out my stories here soon. And I will post a little bit of my meditation this morning. And then if you're watching this in the replay, I know most people watch it in the replay, you can find it on my Instagram highlights. There's a highlight called How to Heal, and you'll be able to find it there. All right? Y'all have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.